Oh boy, that was bad. Diet water, Hornets, this refrigerator with Twitter built in, Twitter itself. Oh, me? I'm just sitting here listing off a few useless things. Useless though they may be, they still serve more of a function than most modern games journalists. What was once a respectable and informative position has been brutally and horrifically transformed into a disgusting Cronenberg-esque monster made up of a false sense of moral superiority, whinging, and being absolutely ass at playing and covering video games, which, if you couldn't guess by the name, is kind of a big part of being a gaming journalist. But no, not in today's overly politicized world. Games journalists are here to make sure that you are getting your daily dose of politics in your video games. Open up, dear, it's time for your fill. You know, the very hobby that you've come to know and love over the years, the one that you use to bond with your friends and family, regardless of their skin color, gender, sexual orientation, or political leanings, or even if they think Metal Gear Solid Survive is a good game. Okay, that one might be pushing it a little bit too far. I don't think anyone can reconcile with somebody who thinks that. Fuck Konami, that's what I'm saying. That's the whole point of this video. We're changing it up. No, we're not. Let's get back on track. So, in knowing that you use this hobby to bond with your friends and family, ask yourself this question. It's very important. It's actually a matter of life and death. At least that's what a lot of political extremists would tell you, but you know, regardless, just think of it, life and death. How on earth, in the gaming space, can you feel safe knowing that some gamer out there that you could be playing with at this very moment voted for Trump? I mean, what if, and hear me out here, a game developer donated money to Trump? Scott Cawthon is the man responsible for the Five Nights at Freddy's franchise, and he's also the most recent victim of the mentally deranged troglodytes, also sometimes referred to as games journalists. Twitter is the natural watering hole for these loathsome creatures, and this is where they caught wind of Scott's heinous crime of donating to a politician that they don't like. This Twitter thread details Scott's donations to various Republican politicians, as well as Tulsi Gabbard, who I like to refer to as one of the good ones. I guess this furry doesn't like Tulsi because he also calls her a crypto-fascist. Oh my god, these people are actually retarded. But this is what got all the games activists in a tizzy, because how dare this man donate his money to the evil Orange Man? We're truly living in a world of perpetual Gamergate. When will it end? So with the screenshots of Scott's political donations making the rounds on Twitter, it was only a matter of time before the more extreme, mentally ill goblins would find it and begin to not only threaten Scott, but also threaten his pregnant wife. Now, I don't really take death threats online all that seriously. Let's be honest, 99% of those people making the death threats have the body of Lizzo and need a mobility scooter to push their fat asses around, or on the other side of the spectrum, they have the physique of Gumby, so they're not doing shit. With that being said, however, what makes these threats more troubling is that Scott and his family were also doxxed, which means that now those threats carry some actual weight because people know exactly where to find him and his pregnant wife. All of this because Scott donated to the wrong political party. Due to these threats and the stress brought on by the situation, Scott decided it was time to step away from the franchise. Scott would comment on this controversy in a Reddit thread. I'm going to read a part of Scott's post, but I would encourage you to take the time to read the rest of it yourself after watching this video. A link for that can be found down in the description below. Scott would say in this Reddit post, "I've always been supportive of creators, and I've tried to treat everyone fairly and treat everyone with dignity and respect. I've never cared about anyone's race, religion, gender, or orientation. I just treat people as people, everyone the same, and because of that, I've ended up with a very diverse group of people that I've worked with over the years. It wasn't intentional, it just happened that way. I chose people who are best for the job. I treat everyone the same, and I ended up with people from all walks of life in my professional life and my personal life as well. That's the way it should be. That's the way I want it to be. That's the way I will continue to be. All of this explanation, I fear, is wasted, as people don't want to discuss with one another anymore. They want endless apologies and submission. People are expecting those from me, will get neither. This response is everything that cancel culture enthusiasts despise. What do you mean all anyone wants is apologies and submission? All we want is for you to come out and apologize for being a garbage person for doing what you feel is right. We don't want you to submit, we just want you to do whatever we want, and we want you to think the way that we think. You know, or else.
Maybe your business might burn to the ground.
What do you mean diversity wasn't intentional? So you're saying that you're a racist and you just choose who's best for the job, regardless of race, religion, gender, or sexual orientation? No wonder you have such a lack of trans-ethnic disabled polygamists on your team, Scott, you bigot. And the sad part is, that joke, it's not even a straw man anymore. Every single person who partakes in cancel culture would love nothing more than to have the entire world viewed through the lens of race, gender, sexual orientation, whatever. They just want everything focused through that lens. The official US currency would be converted into victim points because it would be distributed by them, who are clearly the most oppressed of everybody. So of course, they would get more. Now, after Scott announced that he would be retiring, game journalists began celebrating that another Trumper bites the dust in the gaming industry. You know, the same games journalists that complain about gatekeeping and how we as a gaming community need to be more open-minded and accepting of others. If you ask me, nothing says open-mindedness more like cheering on a man's life and family being threatened, forcing him to retire early from a franchise and a fandom that he clearly loves. Now that's what I call tolerance. And this isn't even the first time this year that this has happened. A few months back, Kotaku and other gaming political activist sites reported on a story of the Hogwarts Legacy lead designer being fired from the project because he was running a alt-right YouTube channel. And seeing as how we're dealing with modern games journalists, of course they only got that story partially right. The man who was fired's name is Troy Levitt, sorry if I'm mispronouncing that incorrectly, but he was actually the senior producer for the project. I mean, he even points this out himself in his video response to the incident.
For example, there are all these articles that I'm sure you all noticed that refer to me as a lead designer or the lead designer, as though I was heading up the entire project. Of course, we all know that's not true. I've actually been a senior producer since 2019 when they asked me to take on that role. I was hired originally as a lead designer in 2018, senior producer since 2019. That's very public knowledge. That's easy to get a hold of. That's a fact check that takes, one look at my LinkedIn page, or maybe one call to WB.
Let's be fair, you can only expect so much from the games activist media. After all, their job isn't really to cover games and gaming news, it's to push their own ideologies onto everyone else, because they're on the right side. But remember, gatekeeping bad. Unless it's them gatekeeping the people that they don't like. That makes sense. That's completely okay. Am I fucking going insane here? Am I losing my mind? I mean, just take a look at all of these copy-paste articles. It's almost as if they share notes and coordinate stories in order to put pressure on people and put pressure on companies to comply with what they want them to do. But no, that couldn't be. They're just reporting the facts. This isn't cancel culture, it's just accountability culture. They're just telling the story. There are no other ulterior fucking Discord. There are no ulterior motives at play here, except yes, there are. Sophia Narwitz put together an incredible article on RT.com, which will also be linked in the description below, where she details her source within the gaming industry's experience for any open conservatives. In the article, her source details that being an open conservative in the gaming industry is just essentially putting a target on your back, and it's going to stop you from getting any kind of upward mobility at all. The main thing I want to focus on within this article, though, is that all of these virtue-signaling scumbags live within glass houses. Let me read a little excerpt from Sophia's article. To cite examples, Danny O'Dwyer, formerly of GameSpot, used to drop N-bombs on Twitter. Patrick Klepek from Vice has a history with jokes. Laura K. Dale, formerly of Kotaku, once slandered a comedian only to admit she made the event up. And Jed Whittaker made an entire video where he laughs about and also drops N-bombs, all while devs such as the team behind Ion Fury are called homophobic in hit pieces because of a pun in their game. But it's okay, the real racists are the conservatives in gaming like Scott. You know, the guy who said things like, "I've always been supportive of creators and have tried to treat everyone fairly and treat everyone with dignity and respect." Right. That guy's the racist one. That guy's the problematic one. The same man who donated hundreds of thousands of dollars to charities like St. Jude's Hospital and the WWF, no, not that one, the World Wildlife Foundation, that's what I'm talking about, not men in spandex. Although men in spandex also need donations, please give accordingly. My link for OnlyFans is down in the description. But sure, let's cancel Scott for giving $2,500 to Donald Trump because Orange Man bad. One of the names from that list in Sophia's article is Patrick Klepek, who works for Vice, so you already know this is going to be one hell of a quality individual. Patrick has a history of not only lacking basic journalistic integrity, but also some pretty spicy jokes of his own, and now, since I'm not a massive fucking hypocrite, I'm not going to lambast this idiot for making edgy jokes. I will, however, point out how insane to me that it is that someone who would make jokes like this celebrate the retirement of a man forced upon him by mentally ill activists on Twitter. All because he donated money to politicians that he believed would help the lives of every US citizen, which Scott states in his Reddit post. This sort of thing has been going on for years now, and it shows no sign of slowing down. If anything, it's ramping up. I mean, look at this article from gamingindustry.biz where they say that this is all just necessary pushback on harmful ideas in regards to the Hogwarts Legacy producer being shit-canned. These people are the reason why you hear, "We need more gatekeeping." It used to be a meme, but now it's real. Games activists, like the ones we talked about in this video, are the reason the games industry is becoming such a toxic and vitriolic place that is unable and unwilling to allow for the free expression of ideas. Hell, you have the developers of Disco Elysium praising the writers of the Communist Manifesto during their acceptance speech, and Kotaku is on their knees sucking their dicks about how amazing it is that some dead communist trash was thanked by these game developers. That's 100% okay, but if you donate a small amount to a mainstream political candidate in the United States, get the fuck out of here. You done fucked up, you're canceled. Scott's work has never been political. Freddy Fazbear's not jump scaring you by shouting MAGA forever, vote for Trump. The games were never political, but because the creator's politics don't line up with the fascistic games activist, he's gotta go. There's a reason why games journalists catch so much shit online, and it's because of situations like these, which further indicate that these people are nothing but political activists whose only goal is to further their own political cause and oust anybody that they see as another. You always see these people and other leftist gaming personalities talking about how the gaming space needs to be more inclusive, more welcoming to other lifestyles, but as soon as you say, okay, that's completely fine, what about conservatives? They start screeching at the top of their lungs that you're a racist, bigotophobe piece of shit. These people are everything that they claim to hate, and their opinion should not be taken seriously by anybody. I mean, for the love of God, when you see them writing articles like these about Mass Effect, it's time to tell them to shut the fuck up. That's what I have for you today, ladies and gentlemen. If you made it to the end of the video, thank you so much because it helps the channel out a ton. You have no idea. As always, I want to know what you think about all of this. Do you think Scott deserved to get canceled? Let me know down in the comments section below. If you liked the video, don't forget to drop a like, and if you really want to support me in this channel, hit the subscribe button and make sure you also hit that bell icon so you don't miss a single Metal Gear Mando video. Of course, before we go, I have to give a special shout out to all my channel members. I love you all. Thank you all so much for watching, and until next time, stay metal, and I will see you in the next video.
Watching, I swear to God, they be my clothes. Switching my hoes like my flows. Switching my face like my clothes. Keep on shooting that gun, no reload. Raindrop, drop top, smoking, no cooking the hot pot. Walking on your bitch, yeah, that. Cooking up dope in the crock pot. My bitch is bad.